Hello and welcome. This is an ACA presentation on the subject of State Department Federal Credit Union accounts. This is a membership benefit as introduced by the American Citizens Abroad, ACA. And we're going to tell you about this account, and I hope to provide you all the information that you'll want and need to assess it. I think we should begin really with the background of these accounts and how they came about, how it happens that ACA is doing all of this, and then we'll tell you what that is, what we're talking about. Also, we need to have a very good introduction to the State Department Federal Credit Union, that organization. Luckily, we have Mike Morris to do that today. And then we're going to slow down and talk about the workings of one of these accounts, what it actually entails, what you're getting. Then after that, we're going to touch upon a subject of investment accounts. Then we're going to slow down again about how you actually get one of these accounts, how you open one of these accounts. Then, near the end, we're going to talk about the fun subject, and that is how you use these, or what I call the cool stuff. So, what are we talking about? We're talking about State Department Federal Credit Union accounts. And the background of all of this and why ACA was interested in this subject is that our members had been running into the problem of lockout principally from foreign financial institutions, foreign banks, who were turning them away, especially if the individual didn't have an address or even a mailing address, didn't have a residence in the U.S. So we wanted to do something to try to solve that. And the ACA-Members State Department Federal Credit Union account solves that problem, and you'll see how. I'm just going to add at this moment something we're very proud of. That is, last October, the ACA State Department Federal Credit Union team were named the best international U.S. services provider at the International Investment 2016 International Fund and Product Awards in London. And that was a very special award, and we're very proud of that. What are we talking about? We're talking about a U.S. federal credit union account with the State Department Federal Credit Union. SDFCU is the financial institution. ACA, American Citizens Abroad, ACA is the introducing organization, and it's ACA that permits you to, if you will, get in the door and have one of these accounts. You come, the SDFCU account is available through ACA to U.S. citizens really residing wherever, but our focus is on U.S. citizens residing outside the U.S. And that individual may not have a U.S. resident, may not have a U.S. mailing address. They can still open and operate one of these accounts. That individual, notice, may never have set foot in the United States. Let's turn to, because key to this is what is State Department Federal Credit Union. And Mike Morris is here to tell us exactly about State Department Federal Credit Union.
Charles, thanks for having me. And I'll talk briefly about the origins of the State Department Federal Credit Union, or SDFCU, its size, strength, and makeup of membership, and also just a little bit about the differences between a bank and a credit union. SDFCU was chartered in 1935 primarily to serve employees of the United States State Department. So we have a long history of serving U.S. foreign service officers and ambassadors around the world. Over time, we have grown our field of membership and the number of groups we serve, and we're happy to have recently added ACA and its members to our field of membership. Today, we have about $1.8 billion in assets, and we serve over 72,000 members worldwide. We are considered well-managed and capitalized by our regulator, the National Credit Union Administration, or NCUA. So let's talk a little bit about the differences and similarities between a bank and a credit union. Credit unions offer many of the same services, as we'll discuss, but let's talk about some of the key differences. So banks are typically owned by its shareholders. Credit unions are owned by its members. Banks have paid board of directors who are responsible to its shareholders, while many credit unions' boards are volunteers who operate in the best interest of its members and the organization. Banks might spend a lot of money on television and radio advertising, where most credit unions spread awareness at a much lower cost through its relationships with the groups that are part of its field of membership. Finally, banks are regulated by the FDIC, and credit unions are regulated by NCUA. Both are U.S. government agencies, independently run and operated, and those are also the groups that ensure the respective deposits for both banks and credit unions. In addition, many credit unions operate under a low-fee, no-fee philosophy, and credit unions are huge on financial literacy and education. So for example, SDFCU conducted over 130 free seminars and webinars last year on a wide range of topics in the areas of saving and investing, being a smart consumer, protecting yourself from identity theft, and making great decisions when buying a car or a home.
Let's turn to the next subject, which is the actual workings of an SDFCU account. And I want to say that I think of it, and I encourage other people to think of it, as more than just an account. As you'll see, it's really more of a relationship with the institution. But let's talk about what it is. Well, it is all the normal things that you would expect. It's accounts, it's a checking, savings, IRAs, IRA accounts. It's banking services, wire transfers, things like that. Credit and debit cards, prepaid cards, loans, mortgages, and a lot of other stuff, all of which is spelled out at the SDFCU website. But it is a lot of things. Importantly, an SDFCU account can be opened and operated entirely online, which is very unusual in the experience of people living overseas. In fact, it might take as little as 12 to 15 minutes to complete the process and open the account, remembering that there will be some back office work done and you may not get a notification and this and that. But your work is basically finished in 12 to 15 minutes. It took me just a touch longer, but most people 12 to 15 minutes. Proof of residence, which you have to provide, and that can be residence anywhere in the world, is commonly provided online. I think I did mine by providing in addition to a scan of my passport, I did a scan of a local water bill showing that I lived where I said I lived. The SDFCU back office, which is excellent, may have some additional questions, or it may not. All of this can be done online. The account can be operated entirely online. All of this can be done with the help, if you need help, from an excellent support desk. The support desk is available 24 hours a day, every day of the year. SDFCU's rates paid on money markets and share certificates are a bit higher, and the interest charged on loans is a bit lower due to the reasons that you've touched upon, really, its ownership structure. Now, this is a U.S. account. It's not an account in a foreign bank. And because it is a U.S. account, it's not subject to foreign bank account reporting, FBAR reporting. It's not listed on that special tax form, the 8938 that you fill out. You don't provide the the Form W-8 that you would be providing if it was a foreign account, because it's not foreign. You'll be providing a Form W-9, which is the same form you would provide for any other U.S. financial account. You will receive the regular tax reporting accounts telling you what income was earned on your account in that Form 1099 series. I know this is all fascinating, but I'll tell you anyway. And the income actually appears as dividends, not as interest, but it's treated the same way, and the form that you get will tell you exactly where to put it on your tax return. Don't worry about that. Let me say what it is not. It's not really a substitute. It's not really a substitute for your individual bank account at, say, your neighborhood bank if you're living in London, say. You might have a neighborhood bank account that you use to debit whatever you owe, the dry cleaner, something like that. It's not a substitute for that local account, and it is always in U.S. dollars. So that's some things that it is not. Let's turn to the next subject, investment accounts. I think we can breeze through this pretty quickly, and I'm going to give that back to you, Mike.
Just touching briefly on investment accounts. SDFCU does have an investment services program, but there are limitations. These are U.S.-based financial advisors managed through an independent broker-dealer. In some cases, we know that we may not be able to assist U.S. citizens living abroad. These accounts are unique to the individual's situation, and opening of these accounts follows a different process.
Mike, before we get off that subject, you mentioned IRAs. If someone has an IRA and they want to somehow move it over to SDFCU, I gather what they should do is really call you or call somebody at SDFCU and go through the subject. Is that right?
That's correct. And on the ACA website, there are frequently asked questions that address this. And I encourage interested individuals to visit that website, review the FAQs, and as a part of the application process, there is an area within the online application to ask us specific questions about that type of product.
Now, let's turn to another subject, which is really how to open one of these accounts, how to get one of these accounts. And this, I'm going to have to slow down just a little bit so that you can follow me. If you are already an ACA member, from the SDFCU account page on the ACA website, so go to our website, you will see that page. You can continue, click over and go from there to the SDFCU website and select the green join button. It really jumps out at you. So go to the ACA website. From there, you'll be directed, click over to the SDFCU website, and the green join button will jump out at you. You will be asked how it is that you are eligible to join the credit union, and you'll be prompted. So you can select, I qualify for membership through my relationship with ACA. When you hit that, then you are in the door and you're ready to go. If you are not already a member of ACA, first go to the ACA website and select Join ACA. First you get into ACA. The membership levels and benefits and all of that is explained there. Essentially, they are a regular membership under 65 years old. It's annually $70. 65 or older, annual $55. In order for your SDFCU account to be activated, you will have to be an ACA member. And SDFCU will confirm this over to ACA, and that will be handled. That's all after you've done what you need to do online. In the background, the SDFCU is confirming with ACA that you are indeed a member. Now then, you can simply open a savings account, or both a savings account and a checking account. after opening an account, you can decide what else you want to do. You can do it right in that first session, or you can think about it and come back to it. Now we're finished with some of the mechanical things, and we can move on to what I call the fun subjects, which is what are some of the uses of this account, which means why do you want one of these accounts? We're going to take turns. I'm going to start with some of my favorites, and then Mike's going to do the ones that he kind of likes. Let's see. Well, this is predictable. One of my favorites is that it allows you to pay electronically federal and state taxes. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but believe me, when it comes time to make those transfers, it's nice to be able to just hit a button and make the transfer. You can also receive electronically tax refunds, because frequently people do get tax refunds. Usually they do get tax refunds. Thirdly, you can receive into this SDFCU account Social Security payments. Let me slow down for some of you and repeat, because this is very interesting. You can have your Social Security payments automatically paid into your SDFCU account, and when it's there, now you can do whatever you want to online with those amounts. Another good use for this is school fees. SDFCU is not going to pay your school fees, unfortunately, but you can use the monies in that account to make the transfers to pay school fees, and so that's very useful. And I think those are my favorites. We'll let Mike turn to some more of his favorites.
Charles, in addition to the uses you've described, we're also finding many other ways we're helping ACA members. For example, one member joined because she's living overseas in Europe. She is employed by a U.S. company that will only make her payroll deposits electronically into a U.S. financial institution. So this person has set up an account with us and is now receiving her payroll deposits electronically into her account here with SDFCU. And then I'm assuming she's transferring a portion of that to her foreign institution where she can use that debit card for dry cleaning and so forth, and the things that one would need to live off the local economy. Another great example is we have a member who has a student attending a U.S. university. That university will now only accept tuition payments in U.S. dollars from a U.S. institution. So this member is using their account here with SDFCU to make those payments. Another member explained that they have an elderly relative living here in the United States, and they are able to go online with their account that they've opened up here and make mortgage payments, utility bills, and so forth using the U.S. bill pay feature within the SDFCU account. Another great example, we've dealt with a number of individuals who actually received checks from financial institutions based here in the U.S. where they had an IRA account, and that institution sent them a check closing out their account. They needed a place to roll that over, and they're able to do that into our straight vanilla savings IRA account with very little effort. So there are a number of ways we're finding and learning that we're able to assist your members. I want to encourage everyone again to please visit the ACA website and the FAQ section. There are so many answers to your questions there, the link to join SDFCU online. It's very easy to do, but I really do encourage people to visit your site and learn the benefits of ACA, and also all the questions they might have about an SDFCU account could be answered there. Also, please stay tuned. We may do another several short videos on specific products and services in a little bit more detail that you might find interesting and helpful.
Mike, thank you for all of that. And just before closing, let me give you a quick commercial for ACA on this subject. Tell you a little bit about ACA. American Citizens Abroad is an exempt organization which is advocating for Americans overseas. It is tax exempt. It represents something estimated to be 6 to 8 million Americans overseas everywhere, but particularly in Washington and elsewhere. It has chapters in Geneva, London, rolling out in other locations. There's a sister organization called American Citizens Abroad Global Foundation. That's really a public charity. Contributions to it are actually tax exempt. Some of the things that we're doing, other things that we're doing, which people may be interested in, we're trying to get some relief from some of the rules in FATCA. We're also working on, very importantly, on changing the rules for taxing Americans overseas. So it's no longer citizenship-based taxation, but residency-based taxation. That's a complicated subject. Go to our website and read about it. I think you'll find it very interesting. And other things, fighting issues involving revocation of passports if you're not current with your IRS payments, elimination of this and that, and transformation of the IRS to more of a modern future state organization. All of that. Highly recommend not only that you get an SDFCU account, but that you get real close to ACA and get active with us. So thank you. Enjoyed the opportunity to talk about all this. Hope to see people in person someday.